then.
And we'll in a world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? I know it's been a while, but we're here at the end of the regular season, of course, to bring you and talk to you about Dallas Cowboys football, NFL football, playoff football. We're here to talk football. And when I say we, of course, Primetime Phil in the house, and, of course, Gametime Bryan. Gametime, we've been talking back and forth, but, man, on the broadcast, you're actually the opposite way. Just to let you know. On your Zoom, there you go. The other way. There you go, that way. No.
That's why I said it like that.
No.
There you go. I'm looking at you.
No.
Oh, this way?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On the broadcast is different.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, my man. There he is.
It took me, if you watched in the first couple of weeks when I was doing it, I was pointing like the other way, and I was like, oh, shit, it's this way. And so Brad Harris is in the house, and, of course, Lord Nova, Mike Aldana, Lady Libra, Clemente is in the house. Welcome, guys. We finally are here. Man, it just postponed. Things happen, weather, family, things happen. But the one thing, of course, Twiz. The one thing that we can for sure talk about is playoff football. There's a lot of teams that are sitting at home watching. But man, there's a lot to go through. We wanted to do 7:30 because we knew we had to talk about some stuff, and of course, Mark does his thing at 9, and so we really don't want to step on his toes too much. The Godfather. Jack Meeker, what's going on? Twiz with the trash talk, and of course, rolling review in the house.
I would expect nothing less, Twiz. How do I sound? How is my volume, everybody? I got a new toy I'm messing with, and Phil says it's good, but the true test is how the people in the chat say. Am I low? Am I high? Or am I just right? Let me know. But yeah, I'm doing good, Phil. I am just drinking in wild card weekend. I am getting ready to buckle up for I'm about as excited as I've been about the Cowboys in a long time.
Well, I mean, when you look at the playoff picture, and we're talking about wild card weekend, and people, of course, love to hit the NFL scripted. Hey, the NFL scripted. So if I'm going to write a story about the wild card weekend, I would talk about Cleveland at Houston. Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, of course, leaving Houston. Boom, team's going against her. Miami, Kansas City, that whole thing with Tyreek Hill. You got Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I don't really know in that sense, but Dallas, Green Bay, of course, Mike McCarthy, Green Bay. And then, of course, Detroit versus the Rams. You got quarterbacks that switch teams. They got something to prove. So yeah, man, there's a lot of scripts within this wild card weekend, and but one thing that we gotta roll out there as well is, of course, the Dallas Cowboys became the NFC East champions. I know Twiz got to just give you chills down your spine, but it took a collapse. Of course, Bryan and I talk about how we do not like to rely on other teams to do, to pull out victories, to get things. But hey, man, that's what it had to do. But Dallas had to take care of its business. So if I'm going to talk to you, Bryan, and let you kind of run with it a little bit, how did you think the Dallas Cowboys ended the year and set up themselves for the playoffs? How are you feeling about them?
You can't ask for much better than what we did. I'm trying to make sure my volume isn't clipping again, people. How do I sound? It seems like it's okay now. So
Brad Harris says your sound is good. And a lot of times too. No, a lot of times too is if it's clipping, I pull it back some. So on my side, so you're good.
Well, no, yeah, okay. Well, I'm in the yellow, so I think I'm good. So I'm going to leave it right where I'm at, and I'm still working out my kinks. But I think you cannot, you can't pick if you had to sit back and go, how do you want to end the season? I don't think you could have done it much better. We could have, we could talk about the Detroit game, but the bottom line is we went on the road and kicked some serious ass. And you could say what you want, but The Eagles ran into the same type of situation that we did last year, where they didn't hold their own destiny in their own hands, and it's tough playing that way. As much as I think the Eagles are a train wreck right now, we were just in that position last year, Phil, where we went into the last game, everybody goes, oh, you got hammered. Really, I mean, we could have blown it. We were losing 10-7 in the second quarter. I don't think people realize we were losing against Washington 10-7 in the second quarter. Now the final was 38-10. I wasn't afraid that we were going to lose the game, but I thought the last few weeks, a good win against Detroit. I thought, and I got a little bit of trouble for this, but I thought the Miami loss was frustrating but encouraging. If that sounds you're accepting losses, you're taking some solace out of a
moral
loss.
victories.
Yeah, I was. Now Buffalo was a shit show, but we called that back in the preseason. You could see it. We've already addressed that. You're playing Eagles. You won 5 in a row. You beat the Eagles, hold them scoreless offensively, and then you have a letdown the following week against a team who's fighting for their playoff lives. It was a train wreck. But after that, we got the job done. And home against Detroit, and we went on the road, handled business ourselves. Thank you, Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, but that's how it works. You handed it to us on a platter, and we took it, and we ate that shit. We ate it. We ate it up. Now, I would say this. We couldn't have picked a better draw, Bill. Like, going into Green Bay, we are rolling, playing a team who, and we're going to break it all down, they got some areas of question going into this game. Ultra Cowboys in the house, Mr. Positive. What's up, Ultra? How are you? Let's get into some of the chat. You got Jack Meeker, Crystal Caramel Corn, JoJo, Lady Libra, Felix Rojas. You got Stacy, Roland's Reviews. Who else we got? Twiz obviously is in the house. Lord Nova. We got my man Brad Harris in the house. So yes, I see Jeff Lee. He reached out to me earlier. What's up, Jeff? How are you, man? I'm excited, Phil. I think we ended the year about as best as you could do it, especially for a Cowboy team. I am ready to get into the wild card weekend and start this roll now. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Going into the playoffs, before the preseason, we were talking about the season, where I was like, it depends on how we are healthy, depends on what kind of role we're going on. Yeah, man, I look at that. I mean, Dallas didn't do anything different than what it would normally have done. Yeah, it's the playoffs, but even with the big lead that it had, there was plenty of times within this year that Dak and them didn't play in the fourth quarter towards the, at least halfway. Right. So the fact that they really just wanted to make sure they put a stamp on the NFC East and, of course, get that second seed to get home field advantage, unless you're going to Santa Clara. So, I mean, that's to me is great, just in the sense that right now you play Green Bay. Now you do not have to go to Green Bay in the cold-ass weather that everybody's talking about, possibly different fields. Excuse me. So you don't have to worry about that. You get the element of your own home that's warm, and I think the nice thing about this matchup, it's not like other years. I mean, this is a Green Bay team that obviously can win. Every team in this playoffs can win, but this is not the same team that we've seen for the past decade or so. So we got a lot to talk about, lots and lots and lots. Where would you like to start? Honestly, do you want to still break down the Washington game? I mean, that's past. I don't know, man. Washington,
we move on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I said we start. Why don't we start here? Why don't we just review? I don't know what you have loaded up. Like I said, people, we don't really discuss it.
Well, I was busy this week, so.
Yeah, why don't we just review what's going on as far as the coaching situation on our team and just maybe some highlights around the league. First and foremost, you brought it to my attention, as well as some people on my lunchtime chat, that we are keeping Will McClay. So that's a good news, right?
He's dedicated to his son. Son's involved. I didn't get to read the article. I just knew it had a lot to do with his son as well. So there's a couple of things more than just the Dallas Cowboys and how he likes his jobs.
He has 1 year left on his contract as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I did see that. He has 1 year left on his contract. Now, what is so he's not going anywhere, which is good. I wish, Phil, I don't know your opinion. I would imagine you would agree. I don't understand why we can't just make him the GM. I mean, is Jerry that stubborn?
Yeah. You can be the owner.
We know you have ultimate say. We know that. You're the freaking owner. You'll always have it until you're 6 feet under. And I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just, we know this.
We know.
Just make him the GM, man. Just make him the damn GM. That doesn't mean just
give him the title that he's basically going to get from another place. I mean, that's
right. Exactly. Exactly.
And so let's be real. If you're a Cowboys fan, there's no mistaking Will McClay. We know him. We understand what he brings to this team. We have praised him for the past, 10 years almost. There's been a lot of talent that has come through from his scouting, group there, and obviously it goes with a lot with him as well too. So how much does he get that credit? It's again like the quarterback. You know him. Oh, he won the game and stuff. Oh, he got that pick and stuff. So yeah, Will McClay, he gets a lot of the credit. But again, it is the scouting team itself. But it's something that he's doing behind the scenes in the sense of the leadership that allows them to do a really good job. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, there's some draft picks when we look at the Micah Parsons draft. How many of those guys do we have left? So it's like. Just like any guy like a GM, there's going to be some hit and misses, but it's nice to know that at least we can stay consistent about that. One thing for sure, Ultra Cowboy says Will McClay is on my shit list for Mozzie when he scouted when the scouts wanted Sam Laporta. Yeah, that would have been nice. I would have been a more offensive line at that time, but Sam Laporta. Can't doubt that he's definitely a baller, and he would have definitely complimented what Ferguson would have done because he has that same swagger that I'm gonna make fun of you as I get the first down kind of thing. So there's a lot of similarities there. So I think they'd have been able. Wow, let's try that in English. They would have been able to switch them out without really any change of the game plans. Because when you put Schoonmaker in there, it's a different ball game than when Jake Ferguson's in there. And nothing against Luke, but he's got a ways to go as well, too. And the first year, getting into the playoffs, that's where you're going to learn some tough football. And, man, it's a great thing as a rookie to be able to get that experience as well. So, but with Will McClay, I mean, we got to go to the next person as well. And let's talk about Dan Quinn. Because this is a guy that's coming up. I gotta say it. As Cowboy fans, we got lucky the first time. I don't know luck because he really wanted to go, but we got lucky the first time when he said, "No, I'm happy with where I'm at." The second year, when he did the same thing, I was like, "Man, we just dodged something right there." And of course, now your third one, it's just like you had to go into this year knowing that this is going to be a big possibility. And to me, there's a lot of tempting offers out there. I know. Ultra Cowboy was just talking about the Seahawks and who he thinks that is going to become their head coach. I think it was a guy named Dave something, Dave Kalanis or something like that.
No, he doesn't think it's Dan Quinn.
I think it's Dan Quinn. Like, to me, it makes the most sense with the ties there. Unless he wants to obviously continue things. But this is that final. To me, this is that final push. This is where you want to get to the promised land because. You don't know if he's going to be here. And if let's say they do get there, and of course we're talking all hypothetical stuff, but let's say they do go there, man, that dude is straight out the door.
Yeah, I would say this. He said, believe it or not, he's a North Jersey guy. I don't know that he wants to go to Seattle. Everybody's assuming. Now, I'm not saying he wouldn't. He wants to coach. There's no quarterback in place there.
To me, the 10
got an older... I just think, listen, I've been saying it, and I'm not trying to go down this road. I'm not trying to be negative. And real quick, Ultra, I agree, man. Schoonmaker was killing people blocking, at the very least. And we're going to, when we break down the Dallas game, don't let me forget the tight ends, because that's going to be a big weapon. But talking about Dan Quinn, I just have a weird feeling he's back. Everybody's saying he's gone. I think that McCarthy may not be long for us. If we win it,
I don't jump on that. I don't jump on that. I see McCarthy here for like 12, 13, something, 15 years. This is what I see.
To coach that long.
When they first talked about it and stuff, when they first talked about it, and it was brought up, he was like, "Oh, he's going to be my Tom Landry." Remember when Jerry Jones said that? His response then was like, "Oh, that's a long time and everything. We'll kind of see how it gets." So that's the openness to where. But to me, it's more of he would need to walk away, because if you're getting us 12 wins each season. Unless you're Marty Schottenheimer, where you're getting 13, 12, 14 wins every season, but you're getting eliminated from the playoffs for a whole decade, I can understand now getting a coach to try to push you over that hump. But right now, with that average-ass clapper that we have for the longest time that would lose us games, with that, well, we don't adjust, we just go ahead and hit our game plan, and eventually it's just going to work.
Well, let me break it down. I like to go over
I agree, Twiz. I think he's a better defensive coordinator than head coach.
And I've said that, but he has – listen, man, he still wakes up in the middle of the night. We all forget that he had a 23-point lead against the Patriots in the Super Bowl where they shit the –
well, a 25-point lead, really.
Where they pooped the bed. That is going to bother him until his last breath. He will coach again. And just to accomplish that goal, who doesn't want to run their own situation? But just looking down the league, okay, Seattle is about the only place I could see him going.
And to me, I think the most tempting job is Washington. To me, the most tempting job, but the only thing is playing against the team that you just put together. I think Washington is a very, very nice offer. It just looks really, really nice. You got the second pick of the draft, $80 million of free money for next year, possibly you got a new owner, possibly a new stadium in the future.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I say more Washington than Seattle. I really do.
I could agree with you with that one. Yeah.
So let me just quickly in my head.
Glimmerman, he was.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Maybe if I don't think he would go to Pittsburgh. Maybe if he leaves,
Twiz,
the coach of Pittsburgh leaves.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Twiz. Chargers is not the best job. They got to pay a bunch of $20 million contracts. It's bad situation over there. Very, very bad. That's probably the worst one.
Make close to $30 million.
Yeah.
And both receivers who are aging make over $30 million. They're $30 million over the cap with a young quarterback on a rookie contract. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
So they're in a world of hurt.
Yeah, it does. To me, that's probably one of the worst positions.
Yeah, Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee. Okay, you think he's going to go to Tennessee? You got no. Yeah.
That's why. Check.
Yeah. Look, go ahead.
No, he says, he goes, Michael will better never become a damn Redskin.
Yeah, right. You got Kansas City, Vegas.
What are you talking about? He hasn't established anything. As much as I'm a big Herbert fan. He came from my alma mater. Like, let's be real. I love Justin Herbert, but he hasn't established shit in the NFL. Let's be real.
The same position as Phil played at Oregon.
And look where the fuck I am. Look at the fuck.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know. They could break bread, but we're only saying when you open up the books, okay, and you look at what you're looking at, your fan base is suspect, you share a stadium, okay. Your owner is ass. Mm-hmm. You have all these aging veterans on the team. It's literally a tear down and start back up type situation.
Hey, Ultra Cowboy. No. See, that's what you got. You got to stop doing that. When we talk about a person, we don't compare him unless you're going, okay, most Super Bowls, the best ever. No, we're talking about this one person, and we're talking about his accomplishments. Quit comparing him to everybody else. Dak has done what Dak has done. Is Dak the same person that he has been that whole past, whatever seasons he's been in the NFL, 7, 8? No, he's a different quarterback this year. You can blame it on whatever you want to on that sense, but Justin Herbert hasn't done anything, and I'm not going to compare him to Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to compare him to I'm going to say Herbert hasn't done shit. Okay. So, anyways,
he hasn't done squat.
But to me, he has potential to be amazing. Yes, but again, we all understand that this roster for the Cowboys have had so much potential that haven't panned out for anything. So, as much as I really like Herbert, He just hasn't done anything yet. And again, you give him an offensive line. I think the offensive line is where your problem is with that team. But if you build that up, then yeah, I mean, he can be an amazing quarterback. But even in college, man, it wasn't like he was winning national titles or anything either. So,
yes, Brad Harris, Dak is the man. Period. Listen, Brad. Anybody that wants to crap on Dak, you can crap on Dak. You know, you're able to do it, and that's cool. That's your opinion. My opinion is, being the quarterback of the hardest team to be a quarterback of in the league. I mean, there's more scrutiny on you. I mean, just look at his stats. He had a 36 TDs to 9 interceptions this year. That's friggin' phenomenal. Close to 4,500 yards. Actually, I mean, I
see,
don't have the
and that's the
but
thing, Ultra Cowboy. He's saying, well, let's see once the playoff starts, and that's true.
Yeah,
is he
exactly.
different? And you are straight up honest and true about that. But I have the most confidence in Dak going into this playoff season than I have in his whole career. Let's be real. Like, I feel good about them against the Packers, but there's always going to be something in the back of your mind as a Cowboy fan that you just can't trust this team 100%.
There you go, Jack.
You know?
There you go, Jack.
What do you say?
Hey, Jack Meeker.
Oh, it says, only thing Troy and her have on Dak is trophies. And that's true. That is true. But that's going to mean something a lot.
In the 90s. Yeah. You go back in the 90s, when they were winning Super Bowls, they were winning 11 games. It's relatively the same, I mean, we got 12-12-12. Dak has 2 playoff wins, 4 playoff losses. I'm telling you now that he's going to get 2 more playoff wins this year at least. So he's going to have the same amount of playoff wins as Jalen Hurts had last year, at the very least, because Jalen Hurts only had 2. He had to bye. He had 2 against the Giants and the Niners at home against a third-string quarterback after they knocked out a Purdy in the backup, and then they lost in the Super Bowl. So, all I'm saying is Dak is playing at an elite level right now. Is he, at times does it get frustrating? I put a stat out there, Phil. The Cowboys are 0-12 in their last 12 games when Dallas scores 21 points or less.
Okay, so Ultra Cowboy. Now let's talk about that for a second. Okay, you're talking about go watch playoff Troy and people putting Dak in the. Troy was the first pick in the draft, dude. He was the first pick in the draft. Yeah. What do you want me to tell you? Oh, if he didn't do that, he wouldn't have lived up to his potential, and he wouldn't have been anything. Dak was in the 4th round. He wasn't blazing stuff up in college. He won games they shouldn't have won. But again, when you compare the two, man, I look at trophies, and Dak doesn't compare. And his accuracy is amazing, but Troy's was incredible. So, I mean, but he had, again, a supporting cast. He had a running back that everybody was like, that's your number one. Dude, the running back he had is the all-time leading rusher. Think about that. The wide receiver he has is a Hall of Famer. Like, I mean, CeeDee Lamb is on that pace to be that, but Tony Pollard is not a Hall of Famer. I mean, this line, how many people in the Hall of Fame is going to be on this line? Zach Martin, for sure. Maybe iffy, very, very iffy, Tyron Smith, But come on, that's what I'm saying, man. You got to put the rest of the team with them. That defense was ridiculous as well. This defense has some running games issues that if Hankins isn't there, they struggle. So you got to put the bigger picture together. And yes, but when you compare the two, of course I would take Aikman, but right now I would take Dak and how he's playing.
Look at that jersey behind me.
Aikman?
This guy. Yeah, I mean, that's my guy.
That's why, see, he has Aikman above Prescott. See, that's how it is, man.
Well, he has to be elevated. I got Romo slightly ahead, too. I got, obviously, I got other jerseys, but, Aikman's got to be at the top. Aikman, has took us to the promised land, man. He got the hardware. Hamid is back, by the way. We did a well check on Hamid. He's doing well. He had COVID for the 5th time.
Oh, my God, Ultra. Really? Dude, I respect a lot of the stuff that you say, but then you say things like that.
I really don't think he's a Cowboy fan. Hopefully we get to hang out with him at the draft. I think he's a closet.
Oh, he's one of those ones, man. He's one of those ones that he loves. He loves them. He hates them. He loves to hate them.
I don't know.
No, I'm messing with him. I respect a lot of it because you do say some facts.
Statement.
Yeah.
And listen, Jack, Troy had the best O-line in football, and that is true. That's big, man. He keeps making these points that it's hard to argue. When you go back and watch the games, Phil, and I've been looking back. Joseph Heatherly, he's old school, so he would tell you. I look back and I watch these games on YouTube. They don't look the best because the HD is not there, and it's all
Hall of Famers. So Larry Allen wasn't a Hall of Famer. Eric Williams. There's Hall of Famers, dude. There was Hall of Famers. Mark, the center.
I don't know that Larry Allen was there yet. I don't think Larry Allen got there till what, 95, 94.
He won a Super Bowl.
I could be wrong, but
he won a Super Bowl.
But I will say, Stepnoski. Now, Kevin Gogan made a Pro Bowler, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Stepnoski, I would say,
Eric Williams.
Agree.
There was some
right because.
But they had like three. There was Larry Allen. There was Eric Williams. Oh, Eric Williams wasn't a Hall of Famer. I for sure thought Eric Williams was, but yeah. Then you're right. Then you got to be.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
But then it's comparable. Then.
I wouldn't say Hall of Fame because Darren Woodson isn't a Hall of Famer. So I don't care about the Hall of Fame as much as the perennial Pro Bowlers, which is what Stepnoski was, which is what which is what Nate Newton was. So yeah, I know he's not a Hall of Famer ultra. He's still a hell of a ball player that was always in the Pro Bowl. So Nate Newton, who got cut by Washington, was the Pro Bowler. That team, because they were so good, gets crapped on, and because we have so many people already in the Hall of Fame, that hurts them. Darren Woodson, if he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame and Eric Allen beats him out this year, I don't know what's going to happen. It's ridiculous. But we have plenty of people. We got Ed Too Tall Jones. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is Ed Too Tall Jones a Hall of Famer?
Man, I have to kind of go back through now. It's like I'm getting a little rusty on that. I'm trying putting all this other stuff.
A lot of guys that deserve it, but they're not. Yeah. So what's up, Vinny Hagan? Anyway, we're getting off course here.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was really good at it. So he was
one thing that everybody says they had a dominating offensive line. What I was saying was, if you go back and watch any film, any games from 92, 93, 94, 92 through 94, they were about as dominant. They were blowing people off the ball. They were running 3 running plays. 3. And everybody in the stadium, the other team knew it, yet they couldn't stop it. It was not pretty for the defense. They could not stop it because of the offensive line. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Vinny Hagan says
defense wins championships.
Defense wins championships.
You're damn right. That is very big. Very, very big. At some point you need that defense. You need that defense to step up. So let's continue. Let's continue it. I love it, Ultra Cowboy. Great conversation, man. Great debate there. I like it.
Says Eric Allen and Woodson. Yeah, I agree, buddy.
Yeah. So man, going into these playoffs, we could talk about the Green Bay matchup. Do you want to talk about that for a while here?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We could.
Because we'll eventually get into the NFL and everything. So
okay. So what do you think? Yeah, we'll circle back with our pick. The pick is in the box, people. The pick is in the box, but we'll get to that later. But you want to start out about the Green Bay? You want to go with their offense first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go with their offense compared to our defense. That's definitely okay with me. When I look,
you started out.
When I look at this team, obviously, I think the person that could really hurt us is Aaron Jones. This defense is done a better job when Hankins is, of course, in the lineup to be able to kind of eliminate that. But they have those moments, man. They have the potential to really kind of be ran all over. Let's be real. I think that's the part. There's certain things that if they play right, Green Bay can control, and if they can have a couple of passes with their offense that are big, definitely could do some big damage and hold the ball longer and stuff. But when I look at this offense, you got to talk quarterback, man. You got to talk Jordan Love and what he brings. Do you like the guy Jordan Love?
I do like Jordan Love. He's young, but he's young. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being young. He's on a roll right now, but
He is.
he has a lot to learn.
I like him as a quarterback. I'm a big fan. I'm always a huge fan of sitting a rookie, sitting him maybe a couple of years, and then playing him. I'm never really a big fan of putting those in there unless, of course, you got a number one pick, stuff like guys that have been to the national championship or playing for the national championship. Those type of guys, I'm all for putting those in there. But if you're picking later on, like I would have loved Dak to be sitting behind Romo, but of course Romo couldn't keep up. His body was just deteriorating by that point. So Romo was never able to sit behind a quarterback and really learn the system. He learned it from an old quarterback from the 90s and a quarterback that just couldn't make it. So let's just, but very good at designing plays. So the time when you saw Dak really blossom, I think, is when Mark Sanchez got in here and was able to kind of nurture him a little bit. Yeah, and it's crazy how it was him, but he wasn't able to sit behind, watch the games, how they're supposed to be won at the end. Oh, this is happening. Okay, you got to escape. Okay, this guy looks like he's going to be single. You have to kind of learn that yourself. And as a fourth-round quarterback, I think Dak, it took him a while to do that kind of stuff. But when I look at a guy like Jordan Love, I like his body of work. I've liked it in college. He can move the offense. He's accurate. I think he gets a little brave and tries to throw balls into coverage when he shouldn't. But I mean, don't you want your quarterback to be aggressive? You just don't want him to be stupid. So I think he could definitely find some success against Dallas, but I think Dallas's defense can definitely find some success against him.
Yeah. So where do you want me to go? I would say, Green Bay, what they do well on offense, okay, is run the ball. Okay, they run the ball well. They're going to be without A.J. Dillon. They go how Aaron Jones goes. Believe it or not, Jordan Love is mobile as he is. He's not very good throwing on the run. He's not good at all when he's pressured. Listen, I think I think he's going to be overwhelmed this game.
Playoffs.
I just think that this is our time.
Our stadium. He's not at home.
Game. Yeah. There's nothing bad to say about Green Bay except it's not their time. They're not winning on Sunday. Well,
they've had some problems on their wide receivers. They got wide receivers that are hurt. You got one with a chest injury. You got Watson that. Yeah, he's got the hamstring. 8 weeks.
12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. Something like that. He's been out for a while, and they were really hoping that they were going to have him for a possible playoff push at the end of the season, and it just has not happened. And of course, his other guy had chest problems. I think he had to go to the hospital. I remember at some point right after the game.
Well, their main guy is the guy we talked about going into the draft, Jalen Reed.
Reed. Yep.
He has turned into Jordan Love's main guy, and that's fine. He's a rookie guy. He'll get some catches. But what they do good, make no mistake, is run the ball. It's not, well, they need to run it. No. In order for them to have any kind of success, they need to dominate the ground game. And I don't think they're going to do it. And then if you go on the defensive side, you got a Jair Alexander. He's their best. He's a really good corner. He tweaked his
ankle, right?
Knee. I think it was his knee or foot.
It was the ankle it was in a walkthrough, I believe.
It was an ankle. It was an ankle. That's it. Yeah. But he's going to play. He's going to travel with CD, and they may shade. They're going to have to shade because I don't care. Nobody can cover CD one-on-one. Okay. He will eat all game. He will have a lot of success about anybody who wants to travel and try and single him out. They're going to shade. Him, and that's fine. But do you know how bad these linebackers? They're not as bad as the Eagles linebackers. Sorry, Twiz. But the linebackers for the Green Bay Packers do not want to play in coverage. They want to come downhill, and they want to attack the box. They do not want to turn their hips and go back. The Green Bay Packers linebackers are horrendous in coverage, and it sets up perfect. Remember, we were talking about Schoonmaker and Ferguson and Hendershot. They are literally one of the worst teams guarding the seam, and that's Dak's favorite pass is the seam pass.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is going in our direction. Now, the only other thing we got to do is actually play the game, get the game jitters out of the way. But, Phil, this team looks different to me. This Cowboy team looks like a weight has been lifted. Dak is playing with a confidence that you don't see very often in any player, let alone Dak Prescott. He comes to the line. He knows what he's doing. If there's a mistake, it's a stupid tipped ball type of a situation. It's not going to be. He's not.
Well, when you look at that Washington game,
continually throw it in.
When you look at that Washington game and that little, tap in the offense, the defensive line smacks and it goes up into the air, like you can see that the twist is happening, and Ridgeway does a great job of pulling T.J. Bass out of that hole. And doesn't let him do the switch and get on it, and so he just grabs him and pretends that that the guard is actually getting caught inside that block, and so it's not his fault. So I got to give Ridgeway great credit for selling that one, and that's what caused that openness. And because he could, no matter what he could, you'll just see him kind of do like this, and he's expecting the ref to do something. So I always think that's always a funny move. But I want to say this, and because I wanted to transition as well too, so I'll go ahead and say both. Kevin LaForte says, love struggles against the man coverage. And this is where my transition between their team and our team on the sense of the defense. Now, I see Dallas being able to really attack this team. Whether, I'm not going to rely on the running game for anything. They haven't really shown a whole lot. And, I expect it to be there. It'd be great if they busted out. That doesn't mean all of a sudden if Tony Pollard runs for 200 yards.
Either.
Yeah,
he's not good at stopping the run either.
So but at the same time, they're terrible at covering in the pass as well, too. Yes. And Dallas has a lot of receivers. So, yes, Kevin is definitely right in the sense that he struggles against man coverage because, that's where he gambles more. He's like, okay, I'm going to throw this in there, and you're going to have a chance. And Bland and Gilmore, those guys love those close calls. And but if
good news.
This team,
Gilmore, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some good things there that could happen. But when I transition to the other side, of course, our defensive going against theirs. I mean, that whole thing. I mean, they can really match up well against them. I worry sometimes about Gilmore and his arm. So give us the Gilmore news, please.
Well, Gilmore has practiced all week. He has the new. It's new as in.
What's up, man?
In the last year and
Cowboy
a half,
Mafia.
They've developed a. We need to do some shout outs. I got to get to Brad, and there's some questions out there I got to get. There you go. You just hit it. Good job. There's been a lot of headway when it comes to these harnesses. The harness he's been wearing it all week in practice. It gives him a lot of range of motion in his shoulder. Normally, the old harness, it was like T-Rex hand. You had one that went up and the other one was like this. No, he can get up there pretty decent. It's not going to be 100%, but it's not really going to bother him. He may not be able to lay out and get those interceptions that he got early in the year, but it's just about covering. He was able to practice, so it's very, very impressive. I'm just happy that he's healthy because when we watched it last week, I was a bit concerned. I don't know about you, but I was a bit concerned when I saw him. Like, this is our luck. We have an opportunity to do something and we lose yet another corner. But I feel good, people. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game, which is why when I talked about McCarthy the other day, I didn't start out the video being negative. I didn't put negativity in my title, but I just said, all this being said, Phil, if we happen to crap the bed and God forbid we lose the game, McCarthy's got to go.
It's going to be hard to argue against that.
He has to go.
Yeah.
I think, me personally, you're going to be heavily favored against your home. Your home. You finally get to home. Okay? I'm not going to be mad at you, even though I'll be upset if we go to Niners and lose a game. If we get blowed out, then we'll have to visit what's going on. But we got to win our 2 home games, at least. And hopefully we get a third, but I'm not banking on it.
So, Brad, real quickly, Brad Harris says, Bryan and Phil, you want us on defense or offense first? He says defense.
He says defense. What do you say?
I say I want our offense on there first because okay, so let's go Cowboys football. That first drive, they're pretty good. Sometimes they do have this thing about starting off kind of slow sometimes. So getting that first drive out of the way, maybe second drive to get something going would be great.
Yeah.
But if we're able to score that first drive, I think that puts pressure on Green Bay and Jordan Love, and you don't know how he's going to be in the playoffs in that sense. This is going to say a lot about him. So to me, I would put our offense on there first. They don't, usually I'm a defensive guy.
I would go defense first. I would go defense first because I think we're going to be so pumped up. Okay. Jordan Love is okay. Yeah, they're going to come out and trying to run the ball, do a little play action, think and dunk. And yeah, they may get a first down or two, but I don't expect much. The worst case scenario, they get like broken play, they get a touchdown. Okay, we still get the ball before, and then again at the end, like in the beginning of the third quarter. At home, I think against a real good, like a real good offensive team, maybe I would go offense first, but probably not, just because you want that back-to-back against this team.
Mark. Mark's in their house. Yeah, Mark, here he is. What's up, Mark?
Yeah.
The Godfather's in here.
Yeah, so I would go defense with Brad. I would put pressure and make a statement early on, get the ball, go down and score. Now you're cooking with gas. Hopefully you get a 2-minute type situation before half. Come back in the third when the crowd is still settling. Quiet stadium. You want to be on offense. Let's roll. So I would do the offense. I would do the defense as far as starting up. Shout out to the 50 people in the chat.
What up?
It's lively today. I appreciate everybody who's here.
Yeah, made our broadcast that we were just voting.
A little bit. Hit that chat a little bit.
Yes.
Ask some of that question you got here.
Okay, so as I was going through, most of it's a lot of statements. Somebody was just talking about that we should have never got rid of Ridgeway. Oh man, trust me, man. That's a Mark Holmes guy. Mark loved him, and I don't blame him because that was going to be a great stuff. If we had Ridgeway and Hankins, I feel better about that combo. If you still have Ridgeway, maybe don't go do the whole Mozzie thing. So it's just. There's a combination of things that happened there that they were just getting a little bit too. They thought they were smart. They thought they were smarter than the rest of the NFL, and they do, and that's the problem. Sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot because they think they're being sneaky, but you're not, man. You're not being sneaky. You're going about it totally wrong at some situations. But you can't tell them that because they're like, well, they got our strategy, and I became a billionaire with the oil, So he's made a living. Obviously making those type of decisions. But when it comes to football, man, there's a lot lacking there, and I think he needs to listen to everybody else. But he's done a better job of doing that. So I got to give him that.
Jack Meeker said, did you hear Micah's podium talk? He is out for blood. I did not see it. I came home from work and was, I took a shower, grabbed a little something to eat, was setting up my Rodecaster Pro 2, and I'm gonna tweak it. Hopefully, I sound okay. But
that's awesome. And that's awesome that he's feeling that way. But I'm hoping playoff Micah is a different animal than the regular season Micah.
Discipline.
We do. And as much he's the out for blood. Anytime I've heard them talk shit in the season, it has not gone well in that next game. So if you're going out there and you're trying to get blood, that's where you don't find it, man. And they all of a sudden they got a deep pass on you, and you let it happen, or they get a deep run because you weren't disciplined.
I want to see more. I like that, Kevin. I like that. Bold prediction: Micah Parsons draws a holding call. I love it. I think he will. Actually,
because we're in the playoffs.
Now we're into the playoffs here, where they're all-star teams. That the head official hasn't called a Cowboy game this year. So his main call is offensive holding, and he calls a lot of roughing the passer. So, for whatever that's worth.
Well, that's where he sits behind.
Yeah. So, but I lost my train of thought. Basically, we were talking about Micah, right? We were talking about Micah. I want to see more of Micah not playing edge rusher. I want to see our guy.
Dorrance Armstrong. I loved Dorrance and Fowler. I love Dorrance Fowler. Like Fowler was just balling. That
Fowler
guy
is on a tear. Needs to have more snaps. He's playing ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like when you move Micah over the center. That's not fair, people. And move D Law up and down the line. That's where I want to see. I want to see multiple fronts.
So Twiz, I got to ask you, if you guys talk about how we talk about flags all the time, can it really be a bold prediction? You know, it's like I think the sun's going to come up tomorrow. You know, it's like, but yeah, I mean, you know, there's a whole part of the league that talks about how Dallas gets the calls, but if you look at the second most penalized team in the NFL, there's been a lot of things that we shot ourselves in the foot, and that all referee. Of course, there's a lot of undisciplined football that's happening on this team. So it's a mixture of both. But of course, even as a Cowboy fan, if you get calls and stuff like that, and it's not obvious false starts or stuff, there's going to always be some questions by a fan. You switch the uniforms, all of a sudden that fan is like, yeah, that's not. I don't know what you're talking about, you know. So
Coyote, you're right. I don't know what Twiz is smoking, bro. But I'll be by Twiz. But you know, I'll break bread with you. But we don't. All year long, we haven't gotten the calls. Yeah, have there been moments? Okay, that Detroit moment.
Thank you, Matt.
Listen, here's the bottom line. Again, and I don't really want to keep addressing it, but I will for fun, out of fun. It doesn't matter what the officials did. We guarded who they said was eligible. Bottom line. Number two, they were still lined up incorrectly, but Dallas was under the impression I put it on Twitter, you heard the stadium announcer say number 70 is eligible. So the miscommunication doesn't mean squat. We guarded 70 because that's the guy that we were told that was eligible. If we were told 68,
we would have guarded. 68
would
have been the guy.
Guarded him.
There was three guys around him. They just kind of like let him run because they looked at him and they kind of just kept going another way because they were like, that's not 70. So they just continued
agreed,
on.
Ultra, agreed.
So
wow, we're agreeing a lot tonight, Ultra. That's scary.
And just like me, I like to be on the opposite. The Dak thing.
Other than the Dak stuff. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Shout out.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Remember Wednesday. Write that down. Wednesday. I was going to say, when you talk about the Detroit game, I look at that Detroit game and hear them talk. Like, again, we didn't have a 20-something seconds left on the clock. We didn't have 2 timeouts, and we didn't have a kicker that kicked a 60-yard field goal. So, you know, but I have to really kind of say it as a Cowboy fan. Hearing people with the Detroit reminds me a lot of Cowboy fans with the catch. You know, Dez caught it and everything like that. Okay, let's say Dez did catch it, and let's say Dez caught it for a touchdown. You know, Bryan's going to love this, but he's not going to hear it. So let's say that he catches it for a touchdown. You're in Green Bay. You're going against Aaron Rodgers, and there were still 3 minutes on the clock. You really didn't think that Green Bay is going to drive it back down the field? That defense was terrible that year. So what I was saying to them was that, you know, it compares a lot to that catch that Dez Bryant. It was a catch. It wasn't a catch. You know, like, if he catches it, scores a touchdown, I still think Aaron Rodgers still has 3 minutes to drive it down the field. You're going to tell me that defense would have stopped him? You know, so to me, they should have gone for the short yardage. There was, I think, if I remember the play right, I think Cole Beasley was like wide open, like for a first down. So, you know, they just try to get a little sneaky by it, and it backfired. So to me, it's just like I laugh because I talk about it more in the sense what's a catch, what's not a catch, and all that. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I don't look at it the same as other Cowboy fans, you know. So yeah, if Murray didn't fumble, it was a different game. Oh my God, Murray, yeah. Oh my God, DeMarco.
Howie Vision. You're still hanging in there, Twiz. So real quick, what's the matter? Oh, you did? Oh, okay, they were just crying. I didn't think you got it.
You are right. You are right. Definitely, Twiz.
Yeah. So most of our problems is coaching and scheme. Yeah, do you think Dracula should be back or what, Twiz?
I think it's just one of the, I think he will just because of the success that he's been able to have. And I mean, you switch offensive coordinators, it doesn't work. Defensive coordinators, doesn't work, you know. I think the offense kind of still has potential to be something. They kind of gotten out of their whole element, or people have figured it out. Let's just be real. Maybe it's the league that's figured it out. Other than the tush push, everything else has been figured out. And of course, injuries, man. Injuries come into play. That defense was already suspect, because you lost a lot of stars in the offseason, and you lost a big one of your defensive coordinators. So I mean that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
If you switch coordinators, so I got to give Nick credit. This is where I'll give Nick credit, because he found those offensive and defensive coordinators that got his team to the Super Bowl. So being able to find the talent, I got to give him credit on that. But with what you replaced it with was just not the same. But think about McCarthy. McCarthy had to take Kellen Moore. He took what? Oh, I can't always forget his name. Mike Nolan. Is that right?
Mike Nolan, nice grab.
Yeah, that was that was a train wreck. Think about that defense, so complex. Jalen Smith was playing out of things, so we don't know if it was the defense or Jalen Smith just not being able to read correctly. But I think this is very, very comparable. Let's just say.
Agreed.
Yeah,
the Eagles got Jordan Davis on Jenny Craig and working out to Richard Simmons videos.
So messed up.
I did a video the other day. This was reported by locally. Jordan Davis, he's been getting fined every week for most of the year for being overweight. And we said this. We said this. He's succumbing to the temptation in the land of cheesesteaks and tasty cakes. I think he was never going to be more than a 2-down player. I just think he could be good. I'm not calling him a bust, but it is what I kind of thought until he can mature a little bit and get his weight under control. Jalen Carter's hit a wall, man. What they're asking those two guys to do, this new defensive coordinator, when Desai was left, was removed of his duties. Now they're not making him go upfield. They're making him kind of two-gap and take up blocks, because their linebackers are so bad. They're trying to free up their linebackers. That's what they're trying to do. In doing so, they're getting blown off the ball. So it's enough Eagles, but yeah, I kind of hope Dracula's back, because to me, as long as he's back, you guys aren't going to do nothing. You've lost enough players now where they just can't turn it on and turn it off. You actually need coaching in this league, people.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to two guys who've watched Coach Clapp for 10 years.
I just don't get a good feeling when I see him. Yeah, he kind of ruined that whole when I saw him before. Because before when he became the coach, I mean, I saw him as, he came in, he did his thing as a backup and got us the help that we needed to get to the Super Bowl, that Thanksgiving game. So he had a good image in my head, and now it's just that's all I see. That's exactly all I see. And so I'm just kind of like, I'm happy that's all. It's a little cringy seeing him on TV sometimes when he talks, because he still has that same, we're going to do our best, and, we're going to be a team, and we're going to hug, and we're going to, get out of here, man.
You gotta plant the seeds.
It's nobody's fault. It's all of our. We collectively know that it's our faults, and it's just like, dude, get that out of here, man. Get that out of here. He was a spiritual type of coach without being spiritual. Let's just say it like that. When I saw him on Hard Knocks with the cussing, I was like, there we go. That's what I want to see, man. I want to see that. If you did that in the media, oh, man, I would have been like, no, man, can't get rid of that guy.
I think what happened was, what's up, Chuck?
Oh, man, that is...
The Mystic says, hello, Daddy. Hello. Anyway, I just think that I hope he stays for my sake. I'm going to be greedy here. Sorry, Eagle fans. I hope Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman are bosom buddies. But yeah, so you want to start breaking down these?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Games.
Good,
I don't know
perfect.
where we're at with time. Okay,
No. We got about another 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes. So
yeah, well, let's start. And like I said, I'm going to have to. It might be ugly at first, so I'm going to try streaming, and we'll work out the kinks. I'm going to stream tomorrow, but maybe I'll do it when I'm not going to have time because I'm working and I'm going right into a stream. So maybe I'll do it tonight later.
I would say as you do a stream, Guys, he's just going to need you to tell him, how's that audio sound? Do you hear it echoey? Is he going to do a bunch of different stuff?
I got a whole new system here.
Yeah, and I told him the only way you test it is by going live.
Yeah.
Do it live!
Do it live. Do it live. Anyway, Houston Texans tomorrow 4:30, plus 1.5. Or no, we'll go with +2 because it's all over the map. I'm saying 1.5, 2, 2.5. So we'll say
who's the favorite?
Houston is a home dog, getting 2 points against the Cleveland Joe Flacco-led Browns. Who do you like?
Oh man, this is going to be a really good. I like these games. This game and the wild cards here. Very good matchups. I really like a lot of the matchups here. This one, of course, Deshaun Watson, the team that took Deshaun Watson compared to the team that had Deshaun Watson. So the drama's there. The only thing you don't have is Deshaun Watson. So when you look at these two teams, Cleveland's defense has just kept Cleveland into these games. And Joe Flacco is just playing like he's in middle school. And he by the end of the game, though, he's definitely the older man because he's like taking naps on the sideline and stuff. So what's up, I Love Weed? When I look at this matchup, I have my faith in CJ Stroud. I really like this quarterback. I think he can attack this Cleveland defense. To me, Cleveland is the more experienced veteran team, but you're at Houston. I'm going to go Houston on this matchup.
Yeah, I could see, that fan base is going to be nuts. I could see where you're going with this, but I'm going to go with Joe Flacco. And this could be the upset. I could see it. But as you see, it's a very close game. Figure the home team gets 3 points. I'm going to go Cleveland just because.
Just to be different, because we always agree differently. I get it.
Yeah. Well,
can't stop now. It's the last game of the season.
Defensively is going to do some things to Stroud. I'll be surprised. Now Cleveland does one of their corners is out, the ex-Niner guy.
Cleveland's defense is great.
Yeah, he's out. But I'll take the Browns just because I think they're the better team. I agree.
I would agree.
Doing what they're doing.
I just think CJ Stroud is definitely he's him. So
he's him. But he's also in the playoffs, and he's gonna have his highlights. But I also think that defense for Cleveland is historically good, and I think they're gonna put the clamp on him. He's gonna have a little bit of success, but I think Cleveland wins. I think Joe Flacco gets the job done.
I got a fan in the background
right now. I like Cleveland Browns to go in and get the W, but this would not surprise me if it goes the other way. It would not. So, what does everybody in the chat think?
Yeah, I got a fan I got here that blows on me just because I got all these TVs. It gets hot in this room, man. Muy caliente, So, yeah, I think Browns defense is really, really good. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think. Who do you guys think gets this matchup? Cleveland, Houston. Matt thinks that it's going to be Texans. 20-17. He thinks they're going to pull it out there. It's going to be a close game. It could be. Close. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one then. So we got
Kansas City in a frozen tundra tomorrow night at 8:00. It is going to be the frozen tundra in Kansas City. They're talking below 0 temperatures. Kansas City at home, -4.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins went from being the 2 seed if they won last week.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's true. Yeah,
like that, hosting 2 games like Dallas to going into the frozen tundra.
That could have been us.
Oh my God,
that could have been us.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, think about that. We've been the 5th seed. We would have had to go to Tampa, right? We would have had to go to Tampa and stuff. And just in the sense that you have to go somewhere else and where you're, you're not sleeping in your own bed the night before.
We're not cold weather. Yeah. We're dome, and then either dome or Niners, San Fran. So we're good. So we don't have to see our offense should roll. But so yeah, what do you like? You like Kansas City? I'm surprised the line is what it is. They're a 4.5 point favorite.
And okay, man? So when you look at Kansas City, what is Kansas City? So far the past couple of years they've shown they're a winner. We haven't seen them struggle like this to know, are they just a team that when the playoffs click on, they click on? Because we have seen some teams in the past that have done that style, and you are in Kansas City, so there's a lot of it. Miami right now is struggling. They're just struggling to figure it out. They got injuries, of course, that they're dealing with on defense. They just signed 3 amazing pass rushers as well. So they got to learn the system. To me, Kansas City, I think they have the atmosphere, but I could definitely see the Dolphins winning. I want to pick Miami. That's the team I want to pick, but they just haven't looked the same. So I'm interested to see if they turn it up. But, of course, if Tyreek Hill wants to destroy them, I think that's a big thing. If Tyreek Hill goes off, it's Miami's game.
Here's my deal. I know they lost Bradley Chubb, Miami. Everybody is counting out Miami because of the weather. I think that's stupid. I think that's dumb take. The bottom line is they got Tyreek Hill that nobody can cover. They got Jalen Waddle. Yeah, Jalen Waddle will be back for this game. I think that you're going to see Kansas City not be able to keep up with the Miami Dolphins.
And that's what I think. If Miami's going to win it, it's got to be a shootout.
Able to keep up.
Yeah.
Now everybody goes, well, but they're home. Well, but they're not the same team, people. No, I will be shocked if they blow out Miami. If they win a close one, would I be shocked? No. It's Pat Mahomes. You're not going to shut down Pat Mahomes and Kelsey. You're not going to you ain't going to shut them down. But I think that defense from Miami can very much limit their offensive productivity. Pat Mahomes is going to have to make play after play after play, and he's playing in the cold too.
Okay,
let's not forget. It's not like one team is playing in the cold. He's playing in the cold too.
Which one has a better running game?
I would go with Miami.
I would go with Miami as well too. So that's what I say. If you get into a point where you have to just be running it, I think Miami has that advantage. Yeah, there's a part of me that wants to go that way, but yeah, I think I just got to see if Kansas City is one of those teams that it's just not turned on.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, I think the more talent is on Miami's side. In a way, a little bit of the pressure went away from them. Now everybody's expecting them to lose. And this is when they go out and they kick their ass. Now, I think that Andy Reid's a great coach, and I love Pat Mahomes, and I love Travis Kelce, but they don't have much else, people. You have Jones on defense saying this is his last run with the Chiefs. I just think this is Miami's game to lose. And I don't know. I just think Miami's going to win the game.
I agree with you. I think it is Miami's game to lose. I just don't. If the same Miami team that showed up for the past couple of games shows up, then yes, they don't stand a chance. But if it's the other team, I think Miami can definitely go crazy in this game. But again, the weather has to be a factor. I truly believe that as well too, Kevin. So let's go on to the next one, man.
We go to the Sunday night. Or the Sunday afternoon game. This will be my all-day stream. Hopefully I have my peeps with me. This is the easiest game of the week for me. Buffalo Bills -9.5 at home. It's the highest line of the week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they were talking about moving the game for weather, but they finally listened to me when I said, when you look back at the Eagle-Atlanta Falcon game, when Michael Vick was on the Falcons, they had the fans come in early and clean the state, help remove the snow. Mm-hmm. You let them in the stadium, and these fans will do anything to get into that stadium a little earlier. So I'd like the Buffalo Bills to blow them out. So that's me. I like Buffalo -9.5. What do you think, man?
My instincts tell me Buffalo. There shouldn't be a close game. I can see Pittsburgh's defense getting something. Is Watt playing? I'm not even sure about that. So
I agree, Chuck.
So to me, I think Buffalo's just the better team. I think that's the reason why. I mean, he's their second seed. Are they second seed? Man, I haven't really paid
Buffalo
attention a lot
is
to.
the number 2 seed.
Okay,
Yes.
I was like, I really haven't been paying too much about it over there. But to me, Buffalo is that team. If you have to go to Buffalo, it's going to be tough, especially if it's snowing and everything. But if Pittsburgh a tough team that's not afraid of snow either. So I love the matchup, but I got to give it to Buffalo. When I look at it, I got to say Buffalo's quarterback is better than Pittsburgh's quarterback. Buffalo's running game is better than Pittsburgh's running game, even though they do have some really good ones in Pittsburgh.
I just think it's a quarterback game, and as much as Josh Allen, I just think they picked the perfect matchup, kind of like we did. I like Buffalo in similar fashion to beat Pittsburgh. I'll be curious to see what happens with the Pittsburgh coach after this game. Some rumor is that he will step down. I don't believe it. I think he's going to continue to coach there, but we'll see about Mike Tomlin after the game. I'll take the Bills as well. We'll skip over. Obviously, you got the 1 o'clock game is the Bills. Then you got the Green Bay at Dallas at 4:30. And then we'll go right to the night game, which I am loving. I think this is about as best of, other than the Steelers. If you had like another team other than the Steelers playing the Bills, this would be the best wild card week. Yeah, like 3 games that were really good.
Yeah.
I love this game. Green Bay plus, or no, sorry. Ooh,
No. Not that one.
Los Angeles +3 going the Rams +3. They're a 3-point underdogs. It's basically a pick'em game, basically, against the Detroit Lions. Lions -3 against the Rams. Who do you like, man?
Man.
I know who I like, but I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know, Joseph. I agree, buddy.
When it comes to these bigger games,
everybody's picking them.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. When you look at these bigger games, not Sam Bradford, he might as well be, right? Matthew Stafford is the type of quarterback that can show up in these types of games. Jared Goff has had the reputation of course, disappearing in these type of games. So to me, I would probably lean more towards the Rams, even though Detroit should be easily the clear winner. They got a better, their running game is a lot, just way better. Their defense is playing better. But again, man, the Rams are the Rams again. One of those teams that will just turn it on when the playoffs come. And if any of these wild card teams that just barely made it into it, I think the Rams are definitely the most questionable ones, whether there be a tough matchup. So I'm going to take the Rams on this upset.
Yeah, that's who I want to take, and I'm going to take the Rams. I think the Rams I think they got the better coach. I don't dislike Dan Campbell, but I think the Rams coach is really good. I think I don't know if it's my heart picking the Rams, but I just think the Rams running game is good. It's not Detroit's running game, but it's pretty darn good. I think the Rams defense is real good. I think the quarterback edge, I think they're both playing well. This is a very, very, very close game.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game.
The Rams have been on a roll as of late. Detroit they're a little bit of blustery at times with how their head coach comes out. And like I said, and their players are still bitching about the call. Again, you can be mad at the ref for calling the wrong guy, but if they would have called the other guy, we would have covered him. So I don't understand, people. Just look at the facts. But again, I'll go with the Rams. I think they're playing at a level that I think this is like the worst matchup for Detroit right now. I think they would, you got Matt Stafford coming home. You got the Detroit the front office telling their fans not to wear Matt Stafford Detroit jerseys. And Matt Stafford's loudmouth wife, she has gotten herself in trouble in the past with her podcast, but she's come out and says she's very upset, everything that Matt's done, for that town, which it's true. There's no reason not to wear his jersey. I mean, it's a little bit soft if you ask me. So I love this to be a field goal game. And I'm going to go with the Rams. Now, would I be surprised if Detroit wins? No, but give me the points. If you can get the 3.5, I would take that. That would even be better. I think this is a field goal game, and I'll go with the Rams. Give me the points. So I think Detroit's in trouble. A, a lot of people want to see, the rematch between Detroit and Dallas. So that would, if Detroit were to win and we win, we would get Detroit if, right? We would get Detroit regardless. Or no, we would get
Well,
Detroit,
it depends
right?
on what happens in that. I think it depends on what
game.
happens the Eagles-Tampa game as well. So, I mean, that's
Yeah,
going to
what's
be a big
Tampa?
thing.
Tampa's what?
Tampa's the fourth seed? I'm going to say they're
Fourth seed,
fourth
right?
seed. Yeah.
So either way, we would get Detroit because 4 and 5 are playing each other. So we would get the higher seed. We would get Detroit.
4 and 5. Okay, so let's say Tampa was to win, right? That was the 4th seed. They would go, and it depends on what happens in this Rams game, right?
Right.
So let's say Detroit wins. So Tampa, it doesn't matter who. Yeah, you're right. Philly or Tampa would automatically go to San Francisco, right?
We would get Detroit. So
yeah,
again, that would set up for a fun game. A lot of Eagle fans want us to play Detroit.
What's up, Lucky Gardenia? Right? Nope, I'm not either.
Beat them. I think we beat Detroit worse this time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree.
May not be CD for 13 catches, but I think Brandon Cooks is starting to heat up. And, I just think that, Ultra wants Detroit. It really wouldn't matter to me, man. It really wouldn't. I want to see the Rams because I think the Rams could beat.
Yeah, exactly, Twiz. That's funny. He's like, get him a pen and paper. I was like, I got to figure this out real quick. So I was like, like you can see the loading screen just kind of like going.
Yeah, he's like, what's that dude's name from The Hangover? And he's got all the math symbols flying over his head.
Yeah.
That GIF. Yeah.
Zach Galifianakis, I think it is, right?
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis. Bang, got it. But yeah, so I don't know. I think Tampa gets blowed out at San Fran. So, if Detroit wins, I'd rather see Philly win, to be honest with you. But then I'd have to deal with Jalen got another playoff win. It's like, okay, okay. So it's like, I really am rooting for them to beat Tampa because I wouldn't mind playing the Eagles in the championship game for some weird, crazy reason. If they can get by the Niners. But
I don't know about that one.
Then I got to deal with, but it is what it is,
All right, so let's go to that Monday night game, which I think is weird. Very weird that they're doing a Monday night game.
Well, they did it last year. The Eagles got the Cowboys schedule of last year. So Tampa Bay +3. They're a 3-point home underdog. Eesh, that tells me something right there. Tampa Bay is a 3-point dog against the Philadelphia Eagles that it comes stumbling into the playoffs. 1-5 in their last 6. What do you think? I have my prediction.
But yeah, when I look at these two teams, I got let's push the Eagles to the side. Let's talk about Tampa Bay for a bit when we're talking about this whole matchup. What is Tampa Bay? Is Tampa Bay an offensive passing team? Are they more of a running team? They got a good running back in White, but they're more of a passing team. They don't. There's nothing there really. Mike Evans is always a guy that can destroy you, and I guess so that if that's going to happen, Tampa Bay is going to have to win this game through the air. My just question is, can Tampa stop the offense of Philly, even if Philly's struggling and stuff like that? I just don't see Tampa's defense being able to hold up against that offensive line. So, even with the bad football, I just think Philadelphia is the better team. And so I would have to go Philadelphia in this matchup. But, it's one of those things I would not bet anything on because it could go either way.
A crystal 80-3.
Wow.
Bucks. Here's the deal. If I'm hearing, and I need to hear from I've been working all day. I really haven't looked too much. Twiz, I need Bobby Murphy. I need all my Eagle people in here to tell me what's going on with A.J. Brown. Is he not playing? Because if A.J. Brown is not playing, Eagles can't win the game. I'm just telling you now, they cannot win. They're not going to win the game. You need A.J. Brown.
You're right. Bobby Murphy says that A.J. will be out too. That'd be crazy.
You would have to rely on Dallas Goedert. You would have to rely on a not 100%. He's going to play.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. And obviously, you got to run the ball. I already said run. So Eagles can win, but without A.J. Brown,
But they got to run it right. You can't run it with your quarterback all the time, man. Run it with your damn running back. You got two good ones back there.
Is saying A.J. is out. If A.J. is out, I can't take the Eagles. I'm sorry, I can't. Devontae Smith is not 100%, people. So Dallas Goedert can do so much, and you can only run so much. Now, I do see an avenue for them to win, but do I think the Eagles coaches are going to run the ball? Twiz, they haven't done it all year. I know we do better running offense. I agree. Will they stick to that? So it all comes down to the Eagles getting out of their own way, coaching wise, and sticking to the run.
That's correct.
Setting up play action, hitting the Goddard and your lesser likes, So to me, as much as I think there's an avenue for the Eagles to win because of their great running game, I don't trust Dracula to pull the trigger to do anything. So if A.J. Brown is out, they're losing the game. If A.J. Brown is playing, they're winning. So that's my opinion. I think they could lose with A.J., but I think they cannot win without A.J. Brown. So it's just funny how far we've come. We've went from A.J. Brown's a great receiver. He's the best in the league. He's better than CD. And now it's, we can win without him.
Well, here's the thing, man. When you look at A.J. Brown, like, I had to really question what Tennessee was doing getting him out of the locker room. Now I kind of see it. I see it now. It's just like if he's not getting the ball, he kind of goes really diva-ish. And that's kind of like you just don't want that type of poison in your locker room. So I get it. I totally get it. I mean, but he walks away from the media, tells them, well, I didn't really want to say anything bad for the team and stuff like that. It's just okay. We're twittering saying that if you throw another interception, you're going to end up playing for number 4. I saw you see the tweet there. So I mean, he's going to throw another interception. That's just not going to not happen. So you might as well just start packing your shit now.
I love that. Dude, come on. Where are you coming up with this? But we got Quiz Dropkins. Who was I? Who the hell? Oh, man, I can't.
Man, I can't laugh. If I laugh, I start coughing and stuff. So.
Yeah, don't. Let's not make him laugh. Listen, Jack Meeker, again, I don't care if the Eagles win. It doesn't hurt me. I kind of think
because eventually at some point they're going to hit somebody that's going to. Yeah,
it would be more fun as a Cowboy fan to possibly play them again. I'm being selfish here from a YouTube channel and my people that they follow me. I think it would be.
You might be right, Matt. You might be right.
It would be fun, but if A.J. Brown is out, he scrubbed his Instagram, he took down all of his Eagles shit. A.J. Brown, I know you're not watching, but if you are watching Primetime Phil tonight, dude, they need you.
Come on,
even if
come on in.
Moral friggin' support. You're a beast of a receiver. You got $100 million contract.
Start acting like it. And
start acting like a leader that you should be.
Yeah,
that's the difference between Michael Irvin. You could say all you want about the off the field stuff and the White House and his issues. My man stepped up as a leader. He probably wasn't as fast as A.J. Brown, but he had every intangible that made Michael Irvin elite. And that's what you need out of you. And you're putting your tail between your legs and you're going and hiding. I don't understand it, bro. This team needs you. What are you doing? You're going to turn your back on Jalen Hurts. It's disgusting. What up, Thomas Garrett? How are you? Shout out to the 55 people still in the chat listening to me and Phil ramble on. Listen, it is what it is. What is going on with this? With this year's, with this era's wide receivers? Captain Taki, what's up, buddy? How you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope all is well.
Captain Taki. But yeah, so again, let's go ahead and move it past that because again, I think everybody's right. You can see Philadelphia come out and do something, but there's a lot of stuff leaning towards Tampa Bay being able. Win, yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I could definitely see them pulling it.
They haven't shown the ability to do what they should do. I don't know, man. I don't understand. It's just only in Philly it can go this bad. But I've seen this before. I know we're moving on, but I've seen this before. It seems like when it goes bad, it goes horrendously bad, and it all comes down to the coach.
You and me both, man.
Bring everybody in, and this coach don't do squat. He just keeps throwing out blanket statements. We got a lot of Super Bowl winners on this team. Okay, you got a coach, bro. There's still young athletes who need to be led sometimes. It's crazy.
All right, so we are down to
the game at hand.
We're down to the last 10 minutes here, right before we're going to try to cut off. But yeah, I mean, this is where we break down what we think is going to happen, of course, in this Cowboy Green Bay game. Do you want to go first, or want me to go first?
Well, I will read the lines, and let me switch my my camera so I can get up close and personal with the people. How are you? All right, we got the Cowboys that are. I'm surprised. It started at 7, went to 7.5, then went back to 7. The Cowboys are a 7-point favorite against the visiting Green Bay Packers at AT&T Stadium. The over/under.
Wow, that's crazy.
Is 50.5. So that's, let me look here. That is the highest. Oh, no, it's not. The Rams at Detroit is 51.5. So it's right there with the, they're expecting a lot of scoring here. 50.5, -7. What do you think, Phil? What's your gut tell you?
When I look at this team, whether it's Green Bay, whether it's Dallas, both are very positive right now. I mean, Green Bay wins 3 in a row, going into the playoffs, playing some pretty good football, some tight football. I thought Chicago may be able to give them a run for their money, but they were able to put Chicago away and kind of get themselves into the playoffs. So I do like the team football that they are playing. So it's hard to, and of course with the Dallas's history in general with Green Bay, there's a little bit of PTSD, but you got to remember that Aaron Rodgers was that guy. Us against Aaron Rodgers, that's that record, man. I don't look at it as Green Bay. Green Bay's defense sucked. It was Aaron Rodgers that was always bringing them back, and we were up by 2 touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers would bring them back. And so, Jordan Love's not Aaron Rodgers, okay? Let's be real. He's a guy that's learning. I really like his game. He does have some weapons. He doesn't have all his weapons. They do some things when they're doing the run game because they like certain blockers at wide receiver, so they tend to kind of run that way with it. So there's a lot of things that give it away. But, of course, playoff football, you can be setting something up to do something else. But I don't know if Green Bay's coaching staff is that wise. They like to point out Green Bay. Oh, in December they were going into this December. They were like, oh, Green Bay hasn't lost a single game. Their coach is perfect in December. Well, guess what? That was, they did a really good job, but it wasn't perfect. So when you look at some of these teams that they lost to the Giants. Think about how much we've destroyed the Giants. They lost to Tampa Bay. It's like there's teams there that you're kind of questioning who they are, and these are the guys that lost to them. Now, don't get me wrong, Dallas has lost to the Cardinals. We have our points as well, too, so we can lose to anybody just like anybody in the NFL. But when I look at this game, it's Dallas across the board. The only thing that I see that Green Bay has the better thing, but it's by one position, is pressure, allowing pressure on their quarterback. Where Dallas is 29th and allowing that, Green Bay, we're 30th, Green Bay's 29th, or vice versa. I think either way they got the better. They're by 1. So we, as a defense, get more pressure quicker than what their offense allows. So they're going to really need to get the ball out quick. You're playing man-to-man coverage. I think there's a lot of things to be gone there. I like Dallas in this matchup right from the beginning, man. I think yes, the Green Bay can definitely go jump out and ahead, but I think Dallas will do their job. I mean, so by the end, after all that rambling, I think Dallas will win, and this final score will be 34-21. So
34-21.
34-21. I think
write this down.
It could be close, but I think we can push it out at the end. The defense stops them and stuff. Has some stops, some key stops, some interceptions. So maybe some picks because Jordan Love will give you those opportunities. But I really like Dallas in this matchup because, again, they're just a better team. Whether you talk about wide receivers, whether you talk about maybe your running back's kind of questionable, your offensive line, you gotta love how ours they're playing. I love the dogs that are behind them. But again, I got to go with after the defense, after the wide receivers, after all that stuff and coaching and everything. I look at the quarterbacks, and right now Dak is playing some really good ball. That doesn't mean he played in the playoffs, but as of right now, he's playing some really good ball.
Yeah, I would say I love everything you're talking about. I want to see some scores in the chat. Joseph Heatherly says, folks, our team is capital ready, READY exclamation point. I think you are right in that assumption. I think we are ready. That Clemente, Micah going to tell Mr. Love my mama very much, and and now you know that. 42-17, Brad Harris. Brad, stay tuned, buddy. Man, we are in pretty much lockstep, my man. First, I want to go back. I believe it was Wednesday. It could have been Thursday, but I thought it was Wednesday. But the more I'm thinking about it, I think it was yesterday. I heard it was the 9-year anniversary of Dez Caught It. It's been 9 years since we went into Lambeau and lost a game that would have been called a catch with today's game and officiating. Under the rules back then, it wasn't a catch. If you watch the replay, Dez caught it. He never lost contact with the ball. It went loose a little bit, but his arm was under it the whole time. Dez caught it, people. But but it's been 9 years. That's how time flies. Just like this year has flown, Phil. I can't believe this is it. We are at Wild Card Weekend, which is usually my favorite weekend. It's like the first weekend of the NFL, the NCAA basketball tournament. That's the best. The first Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the best. Game after game after game after game. That's what this is to me as far as the NFL. Got a lot of teams, a lot of football, a lot of really good games. I love the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys in this game. It doesn't ever seem to be perfect for us, but at home it's a lot more perfect than it is on the road. Eagles gave us a gift, from the gods, and we actually answered. We answered the call, and we went and got the win. Okay, we could have. Washington was not laying over as
you could tell. You could tell
they wanted to win one for their coach, and whatever narrative you want to say, they were coming out. Now they were limited with just who was actually suited up for them, but yet again we blew out a team, and we've done that a lot this year, and we're going to do it again on Sunday. People, we will get a 40 burger. I see 5 touchdowns scored and 2 field goals. Possibly,
you might be right, Bobby.
My original score was going to be 44, but I went with 41. I love Cowboys -7, and I love the over 50.5. I got the Cowboys 41 and the Packers 17.
Yeah, and I really wanted to give the Cowboys a 40 burger. Yeah.
I like the 40 burger. I like 5 touchdowns. I like 4 offensive. I like 1 defensive, and I like 2 field goals. It could be 44. Aubrey could get like another one. 41-17. I believe Brad had 42-17. I want to say. Let me go back and look. Brad 42-17, Ultra Cowboy 42-17. So Ultra, all that negativity, you think we're winning 42-17? I love it, bro.
You can be negative. You can be both. You can be both.
I'll buy you a drink in Detroit. But
let's be real, man. I that wouldn't surprise me, Bobby. It's like you definitely can give them shit and stuff, because this is definitely set up to be their game, and who can beat the Cowboys more? The Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm sorry, but if we lose this game, somebody's got to go. That's all. I'm not trying to be negative, but we have to talk about it, because as soon as the game's over, then it's over. Everything's over. You know what I mean? This is how the NFL playoffs are. We're all excited. We think we're going to win. We play the game, and all of a sudden, especially as of late, we'll lose, and it's like, it's over. There's no more football. And then what do you talk about? I'm just bringing up the fact that if that were to happen, you got to go, brother. I'm sorry, it was a hell of a run, but you didn't get the job done now.
Damn right, Clemente. Menudo for the win, baby.
Menudo, baby. PTP Menudo. And we're not talking about the boy band. So yeah, I do
like their talk going into it, man.
Yeah. I think that 9 o'clock. So let me wrap it up. I think that I think that this is our time. We'll worry about next week. I think there will be a next week. I think Dak goes off. Go Cowboys.
Yep.
Piped.
So so we're gonna go ahead and be getting off that way because Mark has his, and we don't want to take all his guys, from his channel to be watching ours instead of his and stuff. Now, again, Brian and I have made the point that he could put it on the toilet and he get more views than we are.
Yeah, he's smoking meats. He's got 7K views.
Yeah, exactly. So, Brian, I appreciate you coming through. We finally got this broadcast out. There's a lot to talk about. So, the fact that we got it within an hour and a half, man, that was amazing. So, hopefully, when we're coming back, I know you have your broadcast tomorrow. I got stuff that I have to do. So, you will not see me this weekend. I have some really good, fun stuff to do. But, guys, give us your comments. Share it if you can. Like it down there. We're busting our ass here, but we love what we do. So it's busting our ass, but at the same time, it's because we like it, man. We love talking to you guys. You guys have a great insight. Even if we're getting into debate, I still respect it, man, because, of course, with football, there's always a chance you could be right, but there could be a lot of dumb comments, and I know I have my share of them as well, too. Joseph. So, guys, I appreciate you guys coming through. I appreciate all the support. Brian, do you have anything to say before we get out of here?
No, man. Go Cowboys. I'll be streaming tomorrow, so I got to work during the day, but I'll be here for the 4:30 game. So let's roll, baby. Let's ride.
All right. Well, one thing that I appreciate throughout the whole season and everything is to not forget to do what?
Always ring that bell.
Damn right. See you guys.
Go Cowboys.
Hey, we know each other.